welcome to Short and Sweet Yoga Tuesdays. I'm Scola here at the beautiful Treehouse Yoga Studio in Austin, Texas. Come and keep us on your lunch break, before work or after work, whatever you're needing. Completely donation based, at your discretion, however much you can afford. We just want you to come and practice. So there's lots of styles to choose from. You can go to treehouseyogaAustin.com/schedule and see everything we have to offer throughout the week, including some awesome workshops. Today's focus is going to be how to apply yoga to everyday life. Yoga is supposed to be practiced for life, so how can we kind of start to make notice of the ways we're doing things outside of yoga that maybe we could pull in some of those incorporations to help keep our shoulders and our neck tension free, to help keep our low back pain free, really learning to use the whole body to stabilize and support throughout our life. So let's go ahead and start on our backs. Yay! I'm gonna flip around this way. Go ahead and lay back if that's comfortable for you. And we'll just have the feet a little bit wider than hip distance, letting the knees rest in towards one another. Sometimes it takes a moment for the low back to kind of settle into this hard platform of the floor. As you breathe in, really try to breathe into your back, filling your lungs, feeling everything press into the earth and the earth pressing back into you. How can we use the earth as a container to support what we cannot hold? And then inhale, you can take the arms overhead, stretch the legs out long, full body stretch here. And as you exhale, I'm going to bend the right knee, planting my right foot into the ground, and then stack my left knee over, or my left ankle over my right knee. I'm going to pick that leg, my right leg up, hook around the back of my right knee, and pull in gently for a nice reclined pigeon pose here. You can straighten the leg, you can keep the knee bent, whatever feels good for you. My knee is kind of acting up a little bit, so I don't want to go too crazy here. I think I'm actually going to slide my ankle up to my shin a little bit and pull in here. So I can kind of still feel this in my hip, but it's not so much of a bend in the knee now. I'm just guessing here with my modifications. Feel what feels good for you. My words are invitations, but if something doesn't feel right, then it's not going to be helpful or supportive. And then exhale, go ahead and lower the right leg, keeping your left knee bent. Exhale, twist to drop that left knee over. You can always support your knee with a block or a bolster, blanket or a pillow. Just breathing here. You can stay really active in your bottom leg as if we're standing on the ground, or you can relax deep into this pose. What feels good for your muscles right now? And then inhale, rolling back to center, readjusting the hips if you need to, bringing the feet back to center. You can let the knees drop in for a moment. And then again, inhaling, stretching the body open and long. And as we exhale, planting the left foot, stacking our right ankle over our left knee. And then I'm going to thread my hands through to reach around the back of my left knee, pulling in. So my right knee feels fine. I can definitely keep this bend here. So some teachers say, same, other side, but that's not necessarily so. Our practice is to bring balance into our bodies. So if one side is more tight, and the other side is more open, go deeper on the tight side, less on the open side. How can we find equality in our bodies? And then exhale, extend that left leg long. You can grab your block or bolster and then carry that right leg over to your left. Play around with what feels good. You can have cactus arms. You can place your hand on top of your knee and drop your face away from the knee that's twisted. Again, do you want to activate your bottom leg as if you're standing, flexing that foot, engaging the muscles, or do you want to melt into this pose? Inhale, the legs back to center. You can set your feet down to reset the hips. If you want, give yourself a little hug here, whatever feels good. You can even rock side to side. Massaging out the spine, nice and gentle. Then I'm just going to keep rolling all the way to the right so I can roll over onto my belly. Coming into a Sphinx pose, so I'm supported up on my elbows, which are underneath my shoulders. Fingers are spread wide, and I'm going to grip the mat to pull in, and I'm pressing into the tops of my feet, tops of my knees, and I let my hips come up off the mat just a little bit, and then inhale, open the chest up towards the ceiling, and then exhale, lower down. Inhale, reach the arms all the way out to the side of you, so you've got to have a bend in the elbows and your fingers are tented up. So we're up on the fingertips. And then we're going to inhale, we're going to lift the hips slightly as we lift the chest. Exhale, dip the left shoulder down as we look to our right. Inhale, back up to center. Exhale, drop the right shoulder, looking over to the left. Inhale, back to center, 2 more times each side, moving with your own breath. Exhale to lower. Inhale, grounding to lift. Exhale to drape back down. You can make this as much of a snake charm movement as you want, or just undulating the spine. And then inhale back to center. Exhale, lowering all the way down. You can drop your face to one side or the other, bringing the palms up by the hips. And just take a moment here. We're going to start to build some heat in the body using some pretty simple movements and transitions. If you haven't heard of Surya Namaskar A, sun salutations, is what that stands for. It's just a series of movement with the breath. So I'll show you super modified, and then we'll just keep building up from there, and you can stay wherever you're at in your practice. So we're going to inhale, press the palms into the mat right underneath our shoulders. Exhale, push back to downward facing dog. Taking a moment here, you can pedal out your feet. You can bend your knees, pushing them to one side as you really pull your hips back away from your hands. Really starting to build the breath. Then when you're ready, you're going to bend your knees generously, look at the top of your mat, either step or hop to the front. Sometimes I like to lift the top of my buttocks up, which gives me room to step my foot forward. Even if it only comes halfway or so, I can pick it up and carry it the rest of the way. And then step the other foot to match. Exhale, forward fold. If you need to do a super wide forward fold, that's okay too. Whatever feels good for you. I like to have a generous bend in the knees, so my weight can really sit into my heels. If you find that this is too much, you can even go against a wall. And And then inhale, flat back, so I'm reaching my tailbone away from my scalp and my scalp away from my tailbone. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, deep bend in the knees. Let it support your spine as you inhale to rise up all the way to standing. Coming to Tadasana or mountain pose. So, when we are standing at the grocery store, at work, people tend to kick out one hip and then they've got this kickstand of a foot that they're not really putting any weight into. There's all sorts of ways that people like to stand that's not conducive to their bodies. So, making sure that the feet are either hips distance apart or you can bring them a little bit closer together. I'm going to pick up my toes, spread them out as wide as I can, and then gently lay them down. I'm trying to do pinky all the way in, one at a time. And then I'm going to press into the four corners of my feet, which is either side of my heel, under the ball of the big toe and the ball of the pinky toe. And the arches lift, which helps to engage my kneecaps. I'm not going to lock my legs out. I want to communicate, so I'm going to send my shins forward slightly, which helps me to drop back into my heels. And then, this sounds weird, my sacrum, my pelvis, is kind of flaying open. I know it's kind of like a sensitive area. So then, I'm going to lift everything above the pelvis, roll the shoulders back and down. My thighs are rolling in towards one another and out back behind me. So this creates a really strong stance. If you were to try to pick me up, if you were to try to push me over, you would have a hard time. Versus this, you could do it easily. So, take notice when you're standing in the cold cut section and you're trying to decide which meat to buy or which frozen food to buy. How are you standing? How can you adjust? And then we're going to inhale. You can always do a nice bend in the knees to inhale, reach the arms up. I'm doing just a slight back bend here. And with my breath, exhale, using my full breath to go through the motion. Pausing at the bottom of my forward fold. Taking the full inhalation to rise up the flat back. Stretching long, I'm keeping my micro bend in my knees. And then exhale, I can plant my hands wherever you can reach. You can bend your knees to do so. I'm going to step one foot back, then the other. And I can lower my knees for a modified plank. So I'm still trying to stay strong in my belly. Hands are underneath shoulders. I'm going to exhale, shift forward onto my knees. Exhale, lower down chest. And then once I have my chest down, I'm going to scooch my hips back like a snake. Did you see that? I'm like, is that like a snake? I don't know. That would be like an inchworm. There we go. And then now I'm going to press into the tops of my feet. Inhale, roll my chest up. And then exhale, lower down. And then you can inhale, pull back to downward dog or child's pose. I find like a super duper wide-legged down dog, almost just like a forward fold, is much better because I carry a lot of tension in my shoulders and in my neck. So this just like lets all of my weight come into my legs, takes all the pressure out of my wrists, my hands, my shoulders. And then if you're in that super crazy wide leg down dog, you can kind of step your feet back in a little bit. Exhale, bend the knees. And then once again, lift the top of the buttocks, step the foot forward. You can carry it the rest of the way. Step to match the other foot. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway rise. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, bend the knees generously to help support the spine as you lift all the way up to standing. Exhale, mountain pose. And then we're going to do that 2 more rounds, 2 more times, and then you can keep adding on to it to make it harder or easier, whatever you need. Stay where you're at. Inhale, I like to bend my knees to reach my arms up tall, almost like a chair pose here. Exhale, folding forward. How can I keep the integrity of my legs through all these poses? Inhale, flat back. Exhale, bend the knees, step back. You can knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga. Inhale. Pushing back, downward dog or child's pose. Always taking a few breaths wherever you need it. Taking your time. If my cues aren't in line with your breath, that's okay. Keep up with your breath. And then when you're ready, inhale, bend those knees. You can step, hop, or float to the front. Exhale to forward fold. Inhale, roll those shoulders back and down. Stretch the neck long. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, bend those knees, using the lower body to lift the torso. Exhale, mountain pose. So now we're going to inhale, reach the arms up tall. We're going to hook our left wrist with our right hand and exhale, take it on over to the right. I'm trying to peel my heart open up towards the ceiling. I can even send my hips all the way to the left. I can have a deep bend in my knees. Play around with what feels good for you here. Inhale, back up to center. Exhale, grabbing the right wrist with the left palm, taking it over to the left. How can we express upward? Inhale, back up to standing. You could do a little micro back bend here. Exhale, mountain. So I'm going to kind of do a quick recover of mountain again. We're going to spread the toes, lay them down gently, pulling up through the arches, sending the shins forward so I can take that lock out of my knees. Really anchoring down in the hips, lifting the chest and shoulders. And then now I'm going to inhale, reach the arms up tall, and then exhale, sit back, chair pose. So when we're at work, you can actually keep your hands at your heart too if you wish. When we're sitting at our desk, we should be actively rolling our thighs in towards one another and kind of poking our booty out. You want to think of your tailbone as like a kickstand, sort of to support the upper back. Always staying engaged. Inhale, rise up. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reach up tall as you come back to standing. And exhale, mountain pose. So let's do that chair a couple more times. You don't have to sit super deep or anything. This is just good practice for when we're in the car or at a desk. We're going to inhale, reach the arms up tall, and exhale, I'm pulling my bottom back, the top and bottom of my bottom, back away in towards my heels so I can see my toes past my knees. I can bring my hands to heart center or even my hips. I tend to carry a lot of tension in my shoulders, so I don't like to hold my arms up. And then inhale, back up to standing. And exhale, forward fold. We're going to do that one more time. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, bend the knees deeply to lift all the way back up to standing. And exhale, mountain. Take a moment if you need to. Grab some water. And then inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, sink back into your heels. You can have your hands in front of your heart or at your side. And then bending just a little bit more deeply, you might have to tuck the tailbone just a little bit to roll forward. Hook your left elbow against your right knee and press into your palms to twist open. And you can take that tailbone back, making sure that both knees stay in alignment with one another. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, twist on over to the right. Hook your to the left. Right elbow against the left knee. Really sitting back into your bottom. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, woo, forward fold. Legs start shaking. Inhale, halfway lift. right towards down dog or child's pose, or knees, chest, chin, chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog. And exhale, let's just go ahead and press back to a wide-legged child's pose. How do you feel in lunges?
Sorry?
How do you feel in lunges? Good.
I just use the,
Oh, cool. All right, then we're gonna inhale up to all fours. We can take our right foot, step it up by our right hand. So now we're kind of in a modified lunge here. I wanna make sure that we're really engaging our legs though. So I have that inward spiral of my thighs, which helps to lift my center. So this is me kind of dropping in, active. So I want to be over the center of both legs. And then once I'm engaged, I can start to press forward into this lunge. And if you notice your knee is coming way past your ankle, back off a little bit. You can help your foot forward a tiny bit, and come back in. Beautiful. So we want to make sure we're pulling the right hip back, left hip forward. And then if you'd like, you can start to walk your foot out to the right edge of your mat. And then if it feels good, start to let this right knee drop out as you roll onto the side of your foot. You can press into your knee if it's okay, making sure the shoulders roll back, twist to open. Or you can even stay forward and just kind of open the hip here. Inhale that foot back up, pulling the knee into your shoulder, walking your foot back. Exhale, bring your right leg straight as you pull your hips back towards your heel. It's more like a runner's lunge. You can play with pointing your foot, flexing your foot, and I'm also kind of tugging slightly just on like the skin of my leg. So I'm pulling the fascia, which is all of the like connective tissue just on the outside of your muscles. Then exhale, coming forward. We can step this right foot to the left. How is pigeon? Good.
okay, I have to do the modification.
Okay, cool. I like that. Okay. Great modification, I just learned. Teachers are students too. I'm gonna keep my bend in my knee here. I love that, because I hate pigeon. I really do. This is nice. This is, because I'm still getting the same effect. This is much nicer. I have tight hips, like bad, like whoa. So, as you can see, staying up on the knee, and I'm just letting this right knee kind of drop out, and I can totally feel it in the hips. You can have blocks under you, books, whatever you got lying around. Dumbbells are great to take like the pressure out of the wrists. Just holding here for a moment. If this is too much for you to be up on your hands and such, you can always lay on your back and do the same pose. It's essentially what we did in the beginning. And then now inhale, slowly bring that knee up and take it back to match your other leg, and then you can exhale, stretch back to a child's pose if that's comfortable, or even a puppy pose. And then inhale back to all fours. We're gonna step the left foot forward. Now again, just drop your foot wherever you can reach and then help it the rest of the way. Palms are on the inside of the foot. I'm gonna engage, I'm gonna lift the inner thighs up and in, and then exhale to press forward through. Come in a little bit too much over that ankle, so I'm gonna slide that foot forward. And how can you express your heart open here? or you have the option to take your foot more to the left, rolling open onto the edge of that foot, sending your left knee out and away from you. This is enough here, great. If you want to add a twist, beautiful. No worries either way. And then inhale, pulling that knee back up into the shoulder. We're gonna, oh yeah, straighten that front leg. I forgot, we gotta straighten that leg. So we're pulling back in, straighten your front leg, sending your bottom back towards your heels. You can play with pointing, flexing. This would be really supportive to have blocks on either side, so you can keep your chest lifted, back nice in alignment. If you have herniated discs or anything like that, you want to avoid rounding your spine. You really want to keep those discs going back into the vertebra. And then exhale, we can come back forward onto that foot, slide the foot all the way over to the left, and then I'm going to do my modification again because that felt really nice. I'm just going to stay really lifted on this knee as I let my left knee drape open. Just play around with what feels good for you. Make your own modifications. You might teach the teacher something. You never know. I really like this. My leg would always tend to fall asleep or get tingly and just come out of it feeling all wonky in my hips. Where's this been all my life? And then inhale that leg back to center. You can exhale, bring it back by the other leg. And then we're just gonna sit back to one side of our legs, laying back down into Savasana. So set up Savasana however you like. I usually like to put a block down and then I put a bolster over that and then I set my knees on it. And that helps to give my knees a nice little bend, which takes a lot of the pressure out of the low spine. I wish I can do this here. So making sure that the shoulders are tucked underneath the spine, palms are facing up, little distance from the hips, and let the legs just rest out to the side. And take one deep breath here. Pause at the top of your breath, and then exhale out through the mouth. Every time you inhale, you're sending your breath through your whole body, down to your fingertips, through to your toes, back up to your other fingertips, into the heart. And every time you exhale, you just melt a little bit more, unfurrowing the brows, letting the jaw relax. Let the tongue slide back. The shoulders get heavy. Let your arms get heavy. Feeling your chest and back melts into the earth. Releasing the pelvis, groin. Feel any shudders through your body or any twitches, involuntary spasms. That's your body just kind of releasing, letting go, just let it happen. Just be with your breath here. You don't have to change your breath. You don't have to force anything from your breath. Just notice your breath. Can you feel your heart? Can you hear it? How can you pull your senses from the outside world and draw them into yourself? How can you embody your body so much that you hear everything that's going on? Feel free to stay here as long as you'd like, but if you want to start to come out of this, just bring your attention back to your breath. Wiggle the toes and the fingers. Roll the wrists and the ankles. Elbows, knees. You can take the arms up overhead for another full body stretch. And then exhale, you can lay over to one side, coming to a fetal position. You can stack a block or a bolster between your knees. Just taking a moment here, I always like to use this final pose as like a moment to really soak in my practice and my intention. Let my body realize what we just did and let it all sink in. And then exhale, I'm going to press myself up with the support of my palm that was on the earth. Coming to a comfortable seated position. I have a hard time just sitting up on my own because of my hips. So I always like to put a blanket or a bolster. And I just kind of set my tailbone and sacrum right on it. Letting the front of my pelvis kind of slide off. And then inhale, bring the hands to heart center. Bowing the mind to the heart. What can you give thanks for in this moment? Even if it's just a mini thing of, I woke up, I went to work, I did it. Can you give thanks for? Can you thank your body for? How can you be more aware of the ways that you're positioning your body through life? How can you position yourself in more supportive ways? Thank you for following along, and I hope to see you again next week. Hope you have a beautiful day. Namaste. Yay. Ba-ba-ba.
Thank you. I really like your explanation of the non-pose.
The what?